sweet stuff. So simile is a comparison using like or as. So it's a kind of, simile is a kind of metaphor, but metaphor will include more broad things. And then the uses of metaphors, this is just examples. They can be used as verbs. In this example, news that ignited his face knocked out her smile. So ignited, like just like the fire or sparks. And then as adjectives or adverbs, her carnivorous pencil carved up Susan's devotion. This one is actually a verb, as a verb, right? And then as prepositional phrases, with a vulture's eye, like this one. Okay, the doctor inspected the rash. So as prepositional phrases. Usually we consider prepositional phrases used for locations, times, but this one is just the manner. And then as positives or modifiers. On the sidewalk with his newspaper and ink-stained sponge. So these are just examples. And so a lot of times we just use them as nouns, right? This one doesn't list nouns, but all we've been talking about, a writer as a mechanic is just noun equals nouns. But this one actually gives you more varieties of ways you can use it. So now let's just do something, just read through this and see what it is. It's a metaphor and it's describing something. Any ideas? Wave? You're just really close. It could be a wave. Any other thoughts? Along the lines, so we should be able to get it. What do you think it is?
I don't know.
You don't know? First of all, what is the genre of this writing, of this piece? We just talked about it. It's a poem, right? So poems and riddles are a lot of the art. You can find a lot of metaphors in poems and riddles. So the original poem, the title of the original poem is what it is, which is the ocean. So you're like almost absolutely right. So you're saying it's an alligator. Any other guesses? Is it too abstract or too exaggerating? That kind of
I get it now.
you understand I can. It talks about the ocean, its belly softly rumbling, so not really the waves, but the waves of the ocean. It's the one characteristic of it. Okay, and this is another one, I think. This one is a lot similar. It's saying something is this angel. Wind. Other thoughts? It's like a riddle, like when you know the answer, everything seems to make sense. But before you realize that, it takes a lot of guessing. other thoughts than Lynn?
I think it's really fun.
The sweep, the verb sweep, it's used a lot with wind, and that is kind of like a direct hint, right? Sweep between maple trees. There's one last one. This one is shorter. Rainbow. Yeah. They're really easy. Let's see. Before we go into our handout exercise, the guy in the TED Talk video was using Prezi. Do you all know about it? No? It's a website, an online software that makes sort of like PowerPoint slides, but then it's actually something else. Compared to PowerPoints, it can just, zoom in and shift and beam. You can add animations and then you can change the features of your presentation. So you can check that out if you're interested. If you think it's really cool and you can use it in your own presentations, you can edit online, basically make your own presentation show, like a PowerPoint. Something as a substitution for PowerPoint. I just think it's really cool, but I'm not an expertise in that either. So now if you look at your handout, we'll just do this matching activity real quick. There are 15 sentences on your handout. There are only 14 here, but I want you to read through them and just tell me where each sentence fits in here. So these are supposed to be the blanks on your paper, but in a different way. Anyone else needs one? These two are in very different formats, so they'll be the easiest. Just choose one. Two, five. Number 12 there doesn't have an answer up there. So you could cross that one out. I didn't realize it would be difficult. Let's try doing it together, okay? So the first one up here, like follow the acorns rolling down a hill. Which one did you use for that? I heard it from the back louder. 6. You all got 6 for the first one? Yeah. So the dice rolled out of the cup was Veronica, like falling acorns rolling down. This is really easy. Second one, littered about like leaves under autumn maple trees. Which one? No one. I heard someone saying. You got it. Number 2. So canceled checks in the abandoned subway card. Okay. Number 3. Okay. He were a pacing tigress watching over her cubs. Which one?
13.
13, yeah. That one is really easy. So walking versus pacing. And then she were lost in the desert and dying of thirst. That one's really easy too. Yeah. So she poured coffee down her throat. And mucus oozing from an orifice. It's just the vocabulary, I guess. So oozing is describing the process of liquid coming out. So number 1, blue paint spilled, oozing are comparable verbs. All describing liquid. That one's spidery veins on an old one's leg.
Eight.
8. Interesting. You all have 8. Okay, let's see this one.
Oh.
I thought this was easy because you have the blank in the back. And that's pretty straightforward. That leather jacket is so small, so that one is for 8. So the veins one is actually number 4. It's just random drawings, scribbles on the abandoned building. And then steam from the spout of the teapot. That one's also easy. 9. What?
9.
8?
9.
9, yeah, 9. And birds sing in the treetops. I think you all got that.
15.
And it were a fragile porcelain doll. So this one is a sentence, so it must come after the conjunction. Yeah, number 10. And this one also has a unique structure. So a temper tantrum Yeah, 7. So temporary, a sudden lose control, a sudden lose of control of temper. A silent surprise waiting to be unwrapped.
3.
3. And an all spilled over like a child's bucket of toys. There were only
10.
2. Yeah. The 10? Oh, 10 we already talked about. This one. That one is actually number 5. It was all spilled over like a child's bucket of toys. So, I mean, that one, number 5 could be a lot of things. So it's pretty random. The last one is 14. So these two could be interchangeable. 5 and 14 for the last two are kind of describing a similar thing or similar process. So now, finally, you want to be careful when using it in academic writing. However, probably one of the most famous metaphors that we hear nowadays, especially in my original field of ecology, is the term greenhouse effect. And you realize that is a metaphor in itself, right? So it is a metaphor, and one that allows us to understand easily the effects of CO2 in the atmosphere, even if the scientific reasons for that effect are very different from the process that takes place in a real greenhouse. So why would you use it in academic writing if you were to use it? Can you think of a reason?
Grab attention.
To grab attention. And also science are sometimes hard to digest for a more general audience. And if you're writing towards like a more popular or a general audience and you want to make your research to open up to grab attention, then you might want to consider using a metaphor. So I don't know if we have time for this. Let's watch this video and see how many metaphors did you hear in there. You need to count while you watch. It's pretty short.
The greenhouse effect was discovered in 1824, but what is it? Without the greenhouse effect, the Earth would be a frozen ball in space. While the majority of our atmosphere is oxygen and nitrogen, a small fraction consists of greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide, as well as other trace gases. Water is also a significant greenhouse gas. The greenhouse effect works like a blanket around the Earth by trapping heat radiated off the surface of the planet. It's the same as putting on extra blankets or clothing. By doing so, you trap more heat inside the layers. Since the beginning of the industrial age, nitrous oxide used in fertilizer has increased 18%, CO2 from fossil fuel combustion 39%, and methane 148%. This warming is also increasing the temperature of the ocean, which evaporates more water. By adding more greenhouse gases, we have altered the natural cycle, and the Earth is getting warmer.
4 or 3.
2 or 4. Yeah, if you consider greenhouse effect itself being one, and then what did you hear?
The blanket thing.
Like a blanket and clothing and
Freezing bowl.
a frozen ball. Yeah, that's what I had too. So it's like a minute-long video, but then you hear it in a scientific context to make it more public. So now, since this is the very last lecture class, next class you're going to be doing your presentations. I want you to kind of think back throughout the semester what 3 things that you learned that are most memorable, or even if you can just think of one thing that you did gain from this class, I would consider it successful. I'm putting very low standards on myself. So what can you remember? Let's each talk about them. So in the back, Yabuti. the most impressive thing for you? Just one.
I think it's format for the reference.
Format for the reference.
Yeah.
How many of you do find that useful? Yeah, a lot of you. Yeah. What about, okay, Sitin, any others you want to add?
I think maybe the organization and then the thesis statement or the organizational critique essay, argumentative essay, comparison and contrast essay.
So the format of an active writing comes into. Okay, any other thoughts? Mr. Brandon?
Meeting new people.
Meeting new people, you think it's the most important? Yeah, people are resources and that you can often turn to or refer to when you actually are in need of something. Okay, so do you have any questions for presentation next Tuesday? I will post in Angel a guideline. I think I've already posted a page on here, like if you go into lessons, the very third one, it's going to be a blank page now, but I will post guidelines up here for your presentations. It's really short, so don't worry about it too much. It's kind of, spontaneous talk, and then you do need to prepare for it, but like don't go overboard too much.
Can we use our note cards?
Yeah, sure. You can use note cards. You can use the board before you start to talk to remind of yourself and as an outline for your audience.
Oh, or is PowerPoint okay? Or
PowerPoint is okay. Yeah. I didn't encourage that because, technology issues. And then last thing is the SRT that I strongly encourage you to do it, and I'll be very thankful if you do it. So, and then for the grades, the argumentative, I haven't started grading that yet, but I will post it maybe by next Monday, or actually Tuesday. By next class, I will have that final grade posted for you. So, the only thing left is your presentation, which is worth 10 points. Okay? Other questions and thoughts?